Hi, and welcome to nourishingcompassion.org. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to check out our website. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the website in general, and then just go into a little bit about what compassion fatigue is and what we can do about it. So just on the website in general, just so that you know, there's the links at the top. There's like a who we are, which is our wonderful and beautiful team. And then there's also a link for ways you can help and find out about volunteering. We also have a donate button, which of course we're always taking in donations to fund our programs. But the most important part is our membership portal that we have, which has a wealth of information on it. We have different membership levels there, where the first one is the free level, and that's the base one, which allows you access to a different guided meditation that's sent to your inbox weekly. And then we also have a series of we'll send out newsletters that will happen monthly with just information and tips about how to take care of yourself in times of stress and times where you might feel as though your compassion is becoming a little bit fatigued. And speaking of compassion, and fatigue, so compassion fatigue was a term that was developed in about the late 1970s by a man named Charles A. Figley, and he comprised this definition based off of different information that he was getting from different nations, any like developed nations that had like a medical care system where the doctors and nurses were constantly doing a lot of care and dealing with a lot of trauma. And they were experiencing almost like an emotional shutdown that happens, that starts to show signs in their work not being fulfilling. Also, their job just seems to become a little bit harder for them to do. They start to become more apathetic. Then they also might lose sleep, may not be eating well, may stop taking care of themselves well. And Charles A. Figley saw this happening and started to gather these signs and noticing them, and not only, and like our country, but in other industrialized nations as well. And he started to see this pattern happening, and that it usually happened when the caregiver, the nurse, the doctor, social worker, and the like, had been repeatedly exposed to trauma. And that trauma has kind of lodged into their subconscious, where they don't even really know that it's going deep into their physical body. And then they start having these outward reactions to this trauma that either they've witnessed themselves in their work, or that's happened through the reliving the trauma through their patient's eyes. Either way, I mean, if you're a very empathetic person, that's going to happen, where someone tells you something and you feel it in your body. And sometimes that trauma, that fear that you feel from that person telling you that story is enough to start to work in the subconscious. And then outwardly, the manifestations are disconnection with the work, the apathetic ways. All of this comes from just being exposed to trauma, either physically or through the experience of someone else. So when we talk about compassion fatigue, and we talk about how to combat it or care for ourselves in a way that prevents us from becoming an issue, we have to start to look at how this even sets in the first place. So in our free online program, there's a PDF that I compiled just called Compassion Fatigue and What to Do About It. So when you sign up just for our free online membership, you will have access to that PDF document right away. And there it explains a little bit more about compassion fatigue and gives a bunch of resources on how to deal with that. So I hope that you found this introduction video very helpful, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. I hope you have a blessed day.